I hope you're well. This is Odessa, Womb Wellness Coach. I want to talk to you today about decisions we make when we're making lifestyle habit changes or choosing life hacks to get us through the process. So, um, you know, when we're looking at or when we're considering, you know, the kind of work we're going to be involving ourselves in, when we think about the kinds of changes that we have to go through, to get the results that we want. When we are entertaining options, ideas and pursuing research, you know, to find the answers or, programs or courses or just information that we need that we're looking for to be able to address the consistent growth of fibroids, the consistent heavy irregular bleeding, when we're looking for information about how to get our mood swings under control, when women are looking for information about birth, free birth, lotus birth, advocating for your body autonomy, you know, when we are looking for, the nutritional classes and, understanding, the science behind breastfeeding, wanting to know more about the herbs that can, help your friend who is also experiencing similar pain that you are experiencing. When we are researching the information and the different directions and the trajectories that we can be taking, sometimes we don't take ourselves seriously. Sometimes we don't take that process seriously, because we don't believe that we can actually get results, right? So you might think to yourself, well, you don't have time, first of all, because you've got things to do. Your plate is already filled with, all kinds of projects, work, overtime, family, community, previous contractual agreements that you're fulfilling to yourself. Um, and so there's this, I'm not going to have the time to commit to the work that's required for these changes to happen. And then there's, another doubt of, well, is this even going to work? Right? Is this work even going to work for me? As much as I'm interested in this, I know a lot of people who've done the work, but like nothing has happened for them. I see friends trying to do, all these, they're always putting together, new tricks and tips that they've pulled from their YouTube gurus and their newsletters. And, the results may not be exactly what they're expecting to get. And so this creates a level of doubt. But, so there's this question of commitment, and there's this question of commitment of faith, and then this accountability, this self accountability, because if you are inclined to learn about this work, if you are inclined to do this work, if you are inclined to learn about the information, that's needed, if you are required to embody the principles that are needed, right? Then, there's a certain level of accountability that you have to put yourself up against to be able to make it to the other end, right? So not believing, like walking into something, not believing that you're going to succeed is problematic, and not having the faith that you can actually complete it, and then not being accountable for, what it is that you're going to be doing. All of these are pieces to your puzzle, right? So like, why are we here? You know what I mean? Like, why are we, living through this? Now, what I can see is that there's a level of comfort that we all experience, that we all live through because of work, because of everyday habits. We're creatures of habits in general. So we're always looking for, most people are looking for stability, and we need some kind of stability. Familiarity in what we're doing, even when we are into breaking, ceilings and paradigms. But we're looking for that comfort, and we don't want to rock the boat. And so if you have been, living with your own health problems that you've been able to manage, until now. If you've been, coasting through um, life experiences and people and challenges, and not really engaging, any deeper, then this is going to be scary because you're comfortable, right? And we don't want the boat to be rocked. And so it's like, you want to do the work, but you also want to walk the ledge. You know what I mean? Of like, I'm going to pick and choose what I want to do to get the results that I'm looking for. Right. And so we have to keep in mind, what is the end goal? What is the direction that you're taking, for what reason? And for the most portion, it's always because there are women in your community, there are women around you who are experiencing health problems, health issues, and you have a concern. You want to be able to support them with natural modalities that you've heard about, or you yourself may have been trying out and testing. And in the process of wanting to learn more about it, it's like you're coming up against your own humanity, right? And this is the nature of the work, right? Like, if I am going to learn about this work, if I'm going to do this work, then I have to commit myself right, to get the work done, especially if you're looking to do healing work, if you want to be, of service within natural medicine and using holistic medicine. There are layers of accountability, and it's really important that we address this, because, to understand the woo behind all of this, to understand the science behind all of this, the higher science behind all of this, it's important for you to be able to reflect, to get the deeper understandings on what's going on. And so, yeah, so you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to necessarily do all of the work. You want to pick and choose what it is that you get to do when it comes to the work. I don't feel like doing this, I'm going to do this, but you don't have any background or any real experience, and these small pieces and of what you're doing are not necessarily giving you the transformation that you're looking for, right? And this is why I'm saying that we're looking for lifestyle hacks life hacks rather than lifestyle changes. And this is really important. Okay, this is crucial. When people start to gravitate towards natural medicine, when women begin to awaken, when their wombs begin to awaken to the newness of who you truly are and what you can become, there's this, ignition, you know what I mean? Of like, let's do this. But when we talk about the level of superficiality, I'm coming from the perspective of whatever health problem that you've been living with, right? Whether you just found out about it this year, or whether this is something that you've been living with for more than a year to 2 years, even better. It's important that you recognize using natural medicine doesn't mean that this is going to happen right away. And it doesn't mean that you can trip up with your medicine and not take it, or, not do the work, because that's what you do with allopathic medicine, right? Because herbal medicine works. It takes time. It takes the right combination. It takes, there's a lot more that goes into it. And the point that I'm trying to make is that illness is aggressive. Okay, illness is aggressive. It does not care. That's why the medicine that your doctors are giving you is so aggressive. You don't even know how aggressive it is. All you know is that you take one pill and it works. Okay, the medicine it matches the strength or the aggressivity of the illness that you're taking. Sometimes it's a little bit more, sometimes it's a little bit less. So if you are making a transition into natural lifestyle habits, and you're making a decision, a pointed decision to start addressing illness in a more direct, intentional form, way, or shape, it's crucial. It's crucial that you make the decision between using life hacks and making a lifestyle change. Because the little hacks that you're making cannot withhold when the bust back, or bust through or breakdown of your support happens, because the illness takes a different turn, or you know what I mean. And I mean, I'm talking from a perspective that can sound quite extreme, but this is the truth that we have to understand. It's like, well, it was working and now it isn't, and then I drop off. Right? You dropped off because the body made some movements, and then you stopped doing the work, and then, the body regressed a little bit, and now you're trying to do the work again, and you have to catch up, right? So if you don't understand the cycles that you're going through when you're talking about healing, when you're talking about reversing illness, when you're talking about hormonal health, when you're talking about weight loss, when you're talking about fibroids, PCOS, if you don't understand the cycles that you're going through when you are moving through the challenges, you're going to get knocked off course. Okay. Like, that's just what it is. Okay. I don't know if you've ever seen affected organs or affected body parts. It's not, a regular conversation, right? Like, I'm a registered health practitioner. So, and this is part of my passion, is what I love. So I actually follow anatomy pages. I follow surgery pages, and I have conversations with, people who work in surgery, with surgeons, nurses, and, some of these fibroids, some of these uteruses that are coming out, like if the uterus is supposed to be the size of the fist, the uterus is coming out the size of a watermelon, and it's just so deformed, and it's like, this is what you're carrying inside of you, and you don't have time to do the proper work to reverse, right? Or make the situation better, or support the situation going into your chosen elective surgery, if that's what it is. So this is why this work is important. You know what I mean? Like, it's important for everyone involved, but more specifically, the person who is deciding to help others, right? It's important that you also learn how to help yourself. The doctor or the healer has to help his or herself. And whether this is as a health practitioner or whatever work you're doing, you know what I mean? And you just serve people and you naturally help people gravitate towards them. And y'all know I'm always talking more specifically about women's wellness. And this is about, practitioners and healthcare givers and healers who want to support their clients, as well as their own reproductive health. And so, you need to become the CEO of your life. You need to become the CEO of your health, right? Like, it's important that we recognize that women are the first nurturers, we are the first carers, we are the first nurturers, we are the nurses, the first teachers. And we are usually the ones who gather community, who weave community together, right? While traditionally masculinity is the protection or the external reflection of what's happening. Or as one man so graciously described it, the man can sometimes be the lone wolf that walks the parameter of the community, right? Of the village. And so when we're looking from this traditional energetic perspective, right? You've got to know your own medicine, right? Own your own medicine, right? So you can reset your own compass and reset your own energy grid as the CEO of your life, right? Because vibrationally, if you can't carry it, then you can't embody it, right? If you can't embody it, you can't carry it, right? So trusting what's needed for you, right? Trusting what's coming up for you. This is one of the first things that you want to do, right? You've got to stop using the defense mechanism of doing for other people, because that's also a way of procrastination, right? Thinking that you have to fuss over others to get to yourself, right? You've got to, become your own test bunny. In my previous videos, I talked about, your self-care fund, your GoFundMe fund, for you to be able to do the work that you need, right? And so having that fund for you to be able to invest in your self-care is crucial, right? You got to be your own test bunny. You have to actually go out now and start looking and actually actively get the support that you need. Stop giving yourself the excuses that you've been giving yourself before, right? I don't have time to do this. I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the ability to do this. I don't think I can complete it. Oh my goodness. I feel drawn to it, but it's not the time now. Or, I got to wait because it's not the perfect time. It's like, it's never the perfect time. Honestly and truly, it's never the perfect time, which is why everyone will tell you that you just have to jump and do it. Okay. So you also, as CEO of your life, have to recognize, by understanding what your medicine is, it also means that you are fine with recognizing where the gaps are in your health, in your life, in your work, in how you serve your community. Where are the gaps, right? Because if you can't identify the leaks, if you can't identify, the vulnerable areas, which can and will eventually turn into strengths, right? But if you can't identify them, then, what is it that you're actually doing, right? What is it that you're actually working with, working towards, and developing from, right? Like, not just leaning on your strengths, but developing yourself further. Okay. So right now, what I have been offering is support around understanding. I'm just reading my notes here. The many layers of your menstrual cycle, right? Like, this is the basis of what, all women need to understand. All womb carriers, right? If you have a womb, you may have had a hysterectomy, you still count. You may have had, a poofectomy, which is the ovaries removed, you still count. You may be in menopause, you still count. You may just have never, had a baby, you still count. You may never want a baby, you still count. You may not identify as a woman, but you've still got your organ, you still count, right? And so within this work, we talk about the different cycles that we go through as women, as beings, as, a planet, as a solar system, and how this influences and informs our decisions, our lives and our decisions, just so you can better understand how your menstrual cycle is influenced, right? Like, how your healing cycles are influenced, how your, life cycles are influenced, how your power periods are influenced, how your bursts of energy are influenced, how are you leveraging, right, all of these fluctuations. Like it's going like this, it's ebbing, it's flowing, it's doing all of the things, right? Like what are your birth cycles? Which time of the year is the best year? Or, you know what I mean? Which time of the month is really, and not just in relation to your actual bleeding cycle, but we're looking at how it connects to the lunar cycle, how it connects to your biorhythms, like there are a lot of different ways to support the body. And, as a woman, understanding the intimacy of your cycle, like when you close your eyes, as I tell my clients, when you close your eyes and you make your decisions and you have your conversations, that's you and your God, that's you and your universe. For women, that's you and your connection to your menstrual cycle. This is your intimate cycle. No other woman is going to experience the same menstrual cycle as you, right? And these things are all influenced by larger cycles, your birth cycle, your natal cycle, like what's really going on, right? So this work also helps us with productivity. Like when are you the most productive? When are you not? Because I can tell you, for me, there are times where you're not going to get me to do anything. It's not going to happen. And so I preview this in advance, you know what I mean? Because I can feel that my energy is going to dip, and I understand the cycle will last for X amount of time, X amount of days, or X amount of weeks, sometimes depending on the cycle. And so it's important to be able to, I feel like, reflect on this and intuitively dip into it and know, because it really does increase my level of self-awareness, my level of confidence in my body and in my ability to convey my messages, and in how I'm able to convey these messages to my clients, to my community, to my tribe, to you, my listeners. Because advocating for yourself is important, period. As someone who has grown up with a lot of different kinds of abuse, sexual abuse, all the different things, right? I really advocate for this. So I just want to leave you all with this love. Please consider your lifestyle habits versus lifestyle hacks, and what one allows you to do versus the other. Yes, we are comfortable and, confident in what we have developed for ourselves, but it's important that we take a closer look at these things that we develop for ourselves that can sometimes end up being crutches, right? And stopping us from making, that can be stopping us from making more decisive, forward moving decisions, and kind of leave us flapping in shallow waters, and so if you are interested in learning more about the work that I do, about the practitioners program, please head over to the link in my bio and click on the link for a suitability call so we can have that conversation. And if you do click on that link for a call, you will also receive an assessment, a womb health assessment, mini training for you to watch and for you to complete. And this particular training will help you to understand the gaps, of where you are and where you want to be in your womb wellness, in your health. And then we can have the conversation on the call about where you are and how you want to move forward, what your best next steps are. And so I would love, love, love to facilitate this conversation with you, to facilitate that experience with you. If it's something you feel called to do, please feel free to head over into the bio. And that's it, y'all. I will have more conversations with you as they come. Y'all take care, be well wherever you are. Good afternoon, evening, morning, and good night.